keep an eye on Superman starting in second position.
Superman will be ready to show what they're made of.
Our third place starter for today's race is none other than Not Clinton Kakadin.
Not Clinton Kakadin is looking on for a strong result.
In the fourth position, we have Sunrider ready to tackle the race ahead. It's Jack M team, sitting comfortably in fifth. In the middle of the pack, we have Vikal Hyper starting from the sixth position on the grid.
They'll be looking for a clean race.
Sitting in seventh is Jerry Yu. Patrick Schwanz is eighth. D-Max is placed in ninth.
It's the standards tires for D-Max.
Simon Barnes will be looking to gain ground quickly as they start from 10th on the grid.
Starting on the standards tires.
The lights go out, and we are off to a flying start.
Gotta keep a cool head in this heated race. Quick thinking and a sharp eye. That's what it takes to shine.
So Mark Smith's decided to play it cool, eh? Holding onto one like a croc with a juicy steak. Just sizing up the competition, I reckon. Establishing an early advantage will be crucial to the outcome of this race. As the drivers get this race underway, let me give a shout out to the admin team at Assetto Corsa Friends for making this all possible. Heroes one and all. They say, steady as she goes, and that's exactly what Mark Smith's doing. Holding on to one, maybe they've got a trick or two up their sleeve for later.
I for one am really excited, Rob. The rivalry between Mark Smith and Not Clinton Kakadin has been building before the race, and this is where scores are settled.
This is going to be one hell of a race, I can already feel it. Bit of a cruisy start for Jack M team, just filling out the track at Spa-Francorchamps 1966. You know, like a dingo sussing out the lay of the land. Look, it's not always the fireworks on track that win the race. Superman is playing it cool, holding their cards close. Blimey, Superman's shifted gears and the results are clear. Cruising up to first just like that.
That kind of move? That's what happens when you mix horsepower with a dash of southern charm.
Oh mate, Jack M team's more out of place than a vegan at a Bunnings sausage sizzle. Time to throw another gear on the barbie. It's a tense battle for position between Not Clinton Kakadin in second and Mark Smith in three. Not Clinton Kakadin is keeping Mark Smith at bay with a gap of 0.4 seconds.
It's an intense battle between two skilled drivers, and Not Clinton Kakadin in second is doing everything they can to keep Mark Smith behind them. The slightest mistake could cost them the position, so they need to stay focused and stay on their game.
It's neck and neck, the closest battle we've seen in a while. It's not looking good for Mark Smith. They are still behind Not Clinton Kakadin and the gap is increasing. They are gonna need to dig a bit deeper to turn this around. Well, it looks like we have a bit of a traffic jam on the track.
It's like rush hour out there. I mean, I know we're in a race, but can't we all just get along?
Haha, I don't think that's how it works. These drivers are here to win, and they'll do whatever it takes to get ahead.
I guess you're right, but wouldn't it be great if they all just stopped for a cup of tea and a chat? We could have a lovely little race reunion.
It's a battle of wills out there, each driver trying to outsmart and outmaneuver the other. Not Clinton Kakaden wants to get into Superman's slipstream. I reckon they've had a few secret lessons down under. Not Clinton Kakaden's just breezed into first. Heartbreak for Not Clinton Kakaden as they slip down the field. This is what high-octane racing looks like. Not Clinton Kakaden is breathing down the neck of Superman, not giving him any room to relax.
Rob, last time I saw Knockland and Cockadam this riled up, there were sparks flying off the track. Get ready for a showdown.
The gap between Mark Smith and Not Clinton Kakaden is razor thin as they vie for second in this nail-biting contest. Looks like Not Clinton Kakaden is legging it from Mark Smith. The gap's growing like a well-watered waddle as they zoom through Kemmel. Ever felt like you're being watched? Bet Not Clinton Kakaden's getting the vibe right about now with Mark Smith lurking.
Yeah, I really can't see them holding on to this place for much longer.
This is what it's all about, folks. Mikhail Hyper is in hot pursuit of Simon Barnes, who's just trying to stay ahead.
Oi, Rob, wouldn't want to be in Simon Barnes' shoes right now, would y'all? Talk about a pressure cooker situation.
Fantastic move from Mikhail Hyper, who has just gained a position.
Yes, Mikhail Hyper is driving with real focus and precision, and it's paying off.
In your experience, Hal, what was the most important aspect of managing tire degradation during a race?
The most important aspect, Rob, was maintaining a good balance between pushing hard and conserving tires. Finding the sweet spot between aggression and tire preservation was key to optimizing race pace and strategy.
Even though Simon Barnes is a fair way behind Mikhail Hyper, they can't afford to let their guard down. Mikhail Hyper is still vulnerable to mistakes. Blimey, Mark Smith is sticking to Not Clinton Kakaden like a kangaroo to her Joey. At this rate, they'll be side by side as they hit Master straight. Who needs speed dating when you've got Jerry Yu chasing down D Max this eagerly? Move over Tinder, this is how you swipe right at 100 miles per hour. It looks like D Max is pulling away from Jerry Yu. The gap is continuing to grow as they head through Kemmel. Ladies and gents, we've got ourselves a high-speed pursuit. Patrick Schwanz is stalking Not Clinton Kakaden's every move. If racing were a dance, Patrick Schwanz would be trying to lead, but Not Clinton Kakaden just keeps cutting in. The dance floor is heating up. The gap between Mikhail, sorry to interrupt here, but Struth, Jerry Yu's having a real dog's breakfast of a moment. The pressure is on for Jerry Yu as they try to catch up to D-Max. Watching Mark Smith try to close that gap on Superman is like watching someone try to catch an ice cream. Hope they've got good shoes.
Speaking of rhythm, have you heard Superman's fate?
Wait, Jack M Team's off the track. Reminds me of my first car, a real lemon. Drove straight but only in reverse.
Racing at Spa-Francorchamps 1966 is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. Today, Jack M Team got the lemon.
Like a scene from a thriller, Jerry Yu's on D-Max's tail, hungry for that spot.
Shoot, Rob, you ever seen a hound chase a rabbit? That's Jorg U for ya, trying to close in on D-Max with every twist and turn of Spa-Francorchamps 1966.
A brilliant maneuver from Jerry Yu, who has just moved up the field. In your experience, Hal, what was the most challenging aspect of maintaining concentration during a race?
The most challenging aspect, Rob, was managing the various inputs and distractions during the race, from radio communication with the team to monitoring car performance and race strategy. It's a delicate balancing act that requires immense mental discipline.
The race is heating up as Simon Barnes in 6th closes in on Bakal Hyper. The gap is just over a second, and I'm sure they are going to do everything possible to try and close the distance. They're not giving up without a fight. Bloody hell, Mark Smith just took a quick detour to the outback. Maybe they saw a kangaroo on the track or something. Look at that, Jerry Yu is hot on the tail of D-Max.
It's hotter than a jalapeno out here. If Jorg Yu gets any closer to D-Max, we're gonna need to put this stream on OnlyFans.
And Jerry Yu has just won the place from D-Max. You know, Hal, it's been a relatively quiet race so far.
That's right, Rob. The drivers seem to be pacing themselves and waiting for the right moment to make their move. It's like watching a slow dance.
Coming into Bernardville, the fight for third is heating up. Who will be the first to blink?
When I was racing, we had a saying, if you're not living on the edge, you're taking up too much space. Mark Smith is definitely living on the edge today.
Tyre degradations are right pain in the arse, but Mark Smith's handling it like a champ. Getting real up close and personal with not Clinton Kakaden, aren't they? Mark Smith just blitzed past not Clinton Kakaden like they were standing still.
Definitely, but there's still a long way to go in this race, and anything can happen. Mark Smith needs to keep driving with focus and intensity.
As they speed through Master Kink, not Clinton Kakaden is relentlessly pursuing Mark Smith in a high-stakes battle for position. The gap between Jerry Yu and D-Max is not insurmountable, but it's going to take a mistake from Jerry Yu to bring D-Max into play.
I've seen kangaroos that close the gap quicker in the bush than D-Max is doing now. They've got their work cut out for them.
Jerry Yu is burning rubber like there's no tomorrow. D-Max needs to show some ticker if they want to close that gap.
Well, Rob, as we say in North Carolina, the race ain't over till the checkered flag. Let's see if D-Max has some tricks up their sleeve. That's exactly what Jorg Yu needed to do.
You know, Hal, during a long race like this, how easy is it for a driver to experience a lapse in concentration?
It can be quite easy, Rob. With so many factors to consider and the intense focus required, even the most experienced drivers can have a momentary lapse. That's why mental training and staying in the zone are so important.
Well, butter my bread and call it a sandwich. D-Max is not letting Jack M Team have all the fairy bread at this party. Watch out, Jack M Team, he's coming for your Tim Tams, mate.
Well, butter my biscuit. With a gap just shy of a second, D-Max's car is dialed in. He's looking to reel Jack M Team in on the straights of Spa-Francorchamps 1966.
Tell me, mate, ever tried doing a burnout in a ute? It's bloody bonza.
A ute? You guys and your funny names. That's just a pickup, right? Trust me, I've burned more rubber than you've had shrimp on the Barbie.
Simon Barnes is so far off pace, they might be better off in a hearse. At least then someone would be pushing from behind.
Absolutely. Simon Barnes in 6th will need to be patient and carefully work to reduce that gap without overdriving it, as they can't afford to take unnecessary risks and risk an off or damaging their car. Let's see if they have what it takes to get back into the game here.
Gee whiz, Simon Barnes is getting some solid torque out of those corners. They must have figured out the perfect throttle control while trail braking. It looks like Jerry Yu is in control. They're ahead of Jack M Team by over a second, and it doesn't look like they're going to be challenged anytime soon. Crikey, Jerry Yu's lead is slipping away quicker than a roux on the hop. Jack M team is now just 0.9 seconds behind.
Will you keep Jack M team in the rear view? Only time will tell.
Gee whiz, Jack M team is breathing down Jerry Yu's neck. Wouldn't want to be in Jerry Yu's rearview mirror right now. It's getting crowded.
This is the moment where legends are made. These drivers will go down in history as the ones who fought tooth and nail for the top spot.
A great pass for Jack M team as they pick off other drivers and move up the field. Meanwhile, Jerry Yu has lost ground. Mate, I've always thought choosing a tyre compound is a bit like choosing your favourite Aussie beer. Do you go for something robust that can last, or something that gives a quick hit but might wear out fast?
Haha. Well, I reckon it's more like our North Carolina barbecue sauces. Some like it sweet and long-lasting, others prefer that quick tangy kick. But I'll tell ya, getting it wrong is like biting into a pepper when you're expecting a blueberry.
Looks like Simon Barnes is chasing Vikal Hyper harder than a croc chasing a tourist who's lost their thongs. It's a bit of a long shot, but we all remember that one time at the pub, right? It's a brilliant day for racing here at Spa-Francorchamps 1966. I'm really enjoying this.
This race is truly epic. What a treat to be sat here witnessing this spectacle.
Tell ya what, Jack M team's defending harder than a roux with the last Tim Tam. Jerry Yu's gonna have to pull something special out of the bag. Truth, Jack M team's driving like they've stolen it, putting some serious distance between themselves and Jerry Yu. Is there anything left in Jerry Yu's tank?
Jack M team's doing just what they need to, like a dog that's found a bone.
It's a classic case of chasing down the car ahead for Patrick Schwanz, who is currently in P10. But D-Max is not making it easy, and the gap remains over a second. This will require some expert driving from Patrick Schwanz. Looks like Simon Barnes is testing the off-road capabilities of their ride.
Gee whiz, Simon Barnes has lost direction faster than I lost my youth. Welcome to the club.
The track tells a tale of speed, strategy, and skill. Today, it narrates Superman's journey in first.
They say racing's a game of nerves, and Superman's surely holding theirs, keeping that first spot warm.
Things are starting to get tense as Sunrider manages to close the gap to Superman. It's now down to 22.1 seconds.
Superman better find a way to step on the gas or else Sunrider will be whizzing past before you can say, checkered flag.
During your racing career, Hal, did you have any specific techniques to regain concentration if you felt it slipping?
Yes, Rob, I had a few techniques. One was to take a couple of deep breaths and briefly reset my focus. Another was to use a specific keyword or phrase as a mental trigger to refocus my mind on the task at hand.
I've seen kangaroos jump less than the sparks between Jack M team and Simon Barnes. It's almost like a Saturday night date, but with a lot more rubber burning. Now that's how it's done. Jack M team rips through the track, while Simon Barnes watches the taillights fade. The intensity is off the charts as Not Clinton Kirkcaldy hounds Mark Smith, both drivers pushing themselves to the absolute limit. Superb driving from Not Clinton Kirkcaldy, who with that overtake has gained a position in the race.
Amazing stuff. Focus and precision, what it's all about.
The excitement is palpable. This is going to be a race for the ages.
The drivers are executing their strategies to perfection, making the most of every opportunity. This is what top-level racing is all about.
Oh, this is getting intense. Mark Smith is just behind Not Clinton Kirkcaldy.
Y'all see that? Mark Smith's right on Not Clinton Kirkcaldy's tail, and with the gap narrowing, Malmedy is going to be crucial.
It's a close race between Jerry Yu and Simon Barnes in 7th.
This is what makes motor racing so exciting. The tension is high and the stakes are even higher. Who will take home the victory? It's too close to call.
Someone should tell Simon Barnes this ain't a Sunday drive. Jerry Yu's tearing up the track.
Absolutely. Jorg Yu is showing great pace and determination, but they can't get too confident. There are still plenty of challenges ahead.
You ever miss the roar of engines, Hal?
Every single day, Rob. But we've got the next best thing, dissecting every nuance of these races and sharing our digital wisdom with the world.
We've seen overtakes, close calls, and pure racing genius today. Currently, Superman has carved out a spot at first.
You nailed it. The track is a battleground, and Superman's position is their fortress. Let's see how long they hold the fort.
Impressive stuff from Superman, who has managed to pull away from Sunrider, leaving them choking in their exhaust fumes.
That's a really strong performance from Superman. They're not giving Sunrider any chances to catch up.
While Jack M team is not under immediate threat from Jerry Yu, they still need to stay focused and avoid any errors. Any slip-up could cost them their position.
Surely they've got enough in the tank to pull away. Gonna be interesting to watch this battle unfold.
Jack M team is on a charge. Their split time shows they have upped their pace.
Can Jack M team keep it together?
What do you think, Hal? Are there any specific factors that could lead to a driver losing concentration during a race?
There are several factors, Rob. Fatigue, stress, changing track conditions, or even issues within the team can all contribute to a lapse in concentration. It's essential for drivers to stay mentally resilient and adapt to these challenges.
Breaking update. Now I may be wrong here, but I'm not sure that's the racing line. You know, D-Max reminds me of my dating life. Starts with promise, ends up tailing behind everyone else. It's all about consistency for Sunrider, who is currently second. Oh no, Hal, look at this. Not Clinton Kakadin is closing in on Sunrider. The gap is now just 17.6 seconds. So, when you were racing, ever have to do the old nature call dash during a red flag?
Haha, you mean a pit stop for the driver and not the car? Once or twice, you learn to time your drinks and hope for a long caution. Doesn't always work out though.
Not Clinton Kakadin is placed third at the moment. They are hoping to keep their distance ahead of Mikhail Hyper, who is 14.6 seconds behind. The gap between Not Clinton Kakadin and Mikhail Hyper is getting smaller. It's now down to 12.2 seconds. Even though Not Clinton Kakadin is a fair way behind Sunrider, they can't afford to let their guard down. Sunrider is still vulnerable to mistakes.
That's right, and Not Clinton Kakadin knows that they have to keep pushing hard and driving their own race. They can't let Sunrider off the hook.
He's pulling away. Sunrider is increasing the gap to Not Clinton Kakadin. It looks like Not Clinton Kakadin needs to dig deep and find some courage to catch up. Hold that thought. Hold the phone. Looks like Mikhail Hyper forgot they weren't at Bondi Beach, taking a dive like that.
Whoops, Mikhail Hyper is going to be kicking themselves.
Looks like Mikhail Hyper's strategy might just be to let the rest of them die of old age. It's a waiting game now. This is where the skill and experience of the drivers really come into play. D-Max will need to stay focused and keep pushing, even when the gap seems insurmountable. It's not over until the checkered flag drops.
Well, shoot, if D-Max was any more laid back, they'd be horizontal. Reckon they're daydreaming of those cheerleaders again?
It may seem like Jack M Team is far behind, but Jury U can't afford to let their guard down. One mistake could give Jack M Team an opening to catch up.
It's like Jorg U's out on the open highway and Jack M Team's still getting directions at the last gas station. Got a bit of catching up to do.
The gap between Simon Barnes and D Max is not insurmountable, but it's going to take a mistake from Simon Barnes to bring D Max into play. Simon Barnes is losing time to D Max like a leaky tap dripping water. A bit more slip, and we'll be in for a real dogfight. The race has its rhythm, and right now, Sunrider is dancing to its beat at second.
Spot on, Rob. Still waters run deep, and even if it looks calm now, Sunrider needs to maintain that razor-sharp edge.
Sunrider is really belting along the track, leaving Not Clinton Kakadin struggling to keep pace.
That's right, Rob. If Knockland and Cockadon doesn't pick up the pace, they might as well be moving at a snail's pace.
While Jury U is not under immediate threat from Jack M Team, they still need to stay focused and avoid any errors. Any slip-up could cost them their position.
Jorg U's setting the pace out there. Now, it's on Jack M Team to find the rhythm and get back in this dance.
Oh, it seems Hal that Jury U has seen their lead over Jack M Team shrink to 6.4 seconds.
Jorg U's gotta turn on the afterburners if they want to keep Jack M Team in check.
It's a battle of wills out there, with Patrick Schwanz trying to outsmart and outmaneuver Simon Barnes. The gap is slowly closing, but time is running out. Will we see a dramatic finish to this race? It looks like Patrick Schwanz is making a move. The gap to Simon Barnes is now down to 21.9 seconds.
The way Patrick Schwanz is conserving their energy while managing the ERS deployment? Pure artistry. They're sneaking up on Simon Barnes like a quiet storm.
Jury U is placed 5th at the moment. They are hoping to keep their distance ahead of Jack M Team, who is 6.0 seconds behind. Blimey, Superman must have spotted a pub off the track. That's the only reason any self-respecting Aussie would swerve that way. Forget the pits. Superman seems to have only one thing on the mind: victory. More than 6 laps done, still holding onto that pole position.
It's a clinic in race strategy and skill. Superman's showing the young guns how it's done, and I'm here for it.
The gap between Jury U and Jack M Team may be wide, but that doesn't mean Jury U is safe. They have to keep their concentration and avoid any lapses in performance. Alright, lads and ladies, it's crunch time. Patrick Schwanz is sniffing around Simon Barnes like a dog with a bone. And it looks like they might just take a bite out of 8th. It's pedal to the metal for Patrick Schwanz, while Simon Barnes is still flipping through the radio channels. Oof, if Sunrider was a kangaroo, they'd be roadkill by now. Come on, mate, put some pep in that step. Sunrider appears to be losing ground on Superman. They will need to pick up the pace a bit as they head into Blanchimont and see if they can get a good exit and gain some ground. The gap might be more than a second, but Vical Hyper is showing persistence. Kind of like me trying to open a pickle jar. Keep at it, and something's got to give. It's like a Barbie in summer. D-Max is the snag sizzling on the grill, and Patrick Schwann's the hungry mate waiting for a bite.
Well, shucks. D-Max might want to drop a gear or two. Patrick Schwantz is breathing down their exhaust like they're trying to catch a high off a tailgate.
And D-Max has just lost the place to Patrick Schwann's. You reckon Vical Hyper saw a spider in the cockpit? 'Cause they're running away from the front like it's Huntsman Central.
I've seen funeral processions move faster than Vical Hyper right now. Come to think of it, at least they've got a destination in mind.
Cricky, Simon Barnes has got more ground to cover than I do at the family barbecue when Auntie Sharon's had one too many. Good luck, mate.
I agree. Simon Barnes is putting in the effort. Sort of like me at karaoke night. Not sure about the results, but full points for enthusiasm.
Well, I'll be a monkey's Uncle Hal, but Simon Barnes's plans have gone walkabout right now. They're having a proper Barry Crocker keeping up with D-Max. Alright, I've got to ask, ever tried Vegemite?
Tried it once. Reminded me of NASCAR rubber mixed with axle grease. But hey, to each their own.
Blimey, Jerry U is farther back than my hairline. But you know what they say about Aussies? Never say die. Unless it's a spider. Then just run. It's the classic cat and mouse game, but instead of cheese, the prize is a racing position. Can Simon Barnes steal it from D-Max?
Dang, Simon Barnes is so far back, he might start seeing last week's race. But hey, in racing, as in love, persistence is key. Right, y'all?
Even though D-Max is a fair way behind Patrick Schwann's, they can't afford to let their guard down. Patrick Schwann's is still vulnerable to mistakes.
Absolutely right. Rob and D-Max knows that too. They have to keep driving at their best if they want to take advantage of any opportunity that comes their way.
Patrick Schwann's is off like a bride's nightie, leaving D-Max huffing their exhaust fumes.
Yep, Rob. Patrick Schwantz is tearing up the tarmac, but can D-Max dig deep and go hell for leather to catch up?
D-Max is drifting so far back, it's like looking in the mirror after a decade-long pub binge. Time's not been kind, mate. The best laid plans of mice and men are out, but it's certainly not going to plan for D-Max right now as they are struggling to keep up with Patrick Schwann's. The tension is building as Vical Hyper trails behind Not Clinton Kakaden. The gap is slowly but surely decreasing, and the pressure is mounting. Can Not Clinton Kakaden hold on, or will Vical Hyper be able to close them down?
It's going to be tough for Vical Hyper, as Nocklint and Cockadon seems to have found their rhythm. But anything can happen in racing, and we've seen Vical Hyper pull off some impressive moves before. I'm excited to see if they can make it happen again.
The age-old challenge. Sunrider is trying to catch Superman, sort of like trying to find a matching sock in the laundry. The struggle is real, folks. It's all systems go for D-Max, marking their territory in the 7th. D-Max is showing off some serious moves, making Jury U look like they're dancing with two left feet.
As long as D-Max can maintain that consistency and pace, it will be interesting to see.
Looks like Jerry Yu is trying to chase down D-Max, but right now it feels a bit like my attempts at dieting. A lot of hard work with slow results.
Lordy, it's like Jorg Yu's driving with a boot full of moonshine. I haven't seen a gap that big since Uncle Jeb lost his front teeth.
Stone the crows. Jerry Yu's managed to trim that gap with D-Max, eh? Must be the slipstream effect on this straight. Or maybe they've put down that beer. In the midst of this high-octane spectacle, Jack M-Team's skill is shining through as they claim fifth. Patrick Schwanz is gaining on Jack M-Team quicker than a croc on a wallaby. It's a blink and you'll miss it situation with 76.6 seconds separating them.
Looks like Jack M-Team has a storm brewing in their rearview mirror, and its name is Patrick Schwanz. They've got to keep their foot down and eyes on the prize.
Sunrider's more lost out there than I was after a night at the Gold Coast. And at least I woke up with a kebab in hand. It's game on now. Sunrider has closed the gap to Superman. It's now down to 12.9 seconds. Tell ya what, D-Max is trailing harder than my belt after Christmas dinner. Reckon he's got a plan up his sleeve, or is he just here for the sausage sizzle? If Simon Barnes goes any slower, they'll join me in my failed dreams collection. Front row seats available.
Lord have mercy. Simon Barnes has got more space between him and Jorg Yu than my paw got between his ears. But miracles do happen. Just ask my—
Breaking alert. It looks like Simon Barnes has been called into the pits. Would ya look at that gap? Jerry Yu's got a better chance of finding a sober Aussie on Australia Day. But hey, we love an underdog. Go get them, Tiger. As D-Max trails Patrick Schwanz, it's a bit reminiscent of my cat chasing a laser point. Determined, but always just a tad behind. Remember when we thought D-Max had peaked? Think again. They're harnessing every bit of downforce and it's making Patrick Schwanz's mirrors awfully busy.
Holy smokes. D-Max is extracting every ounce of horsepower from that power unit. They're tailing Patrick Schwanz tighter than a belt after Thanksgiving dinner.
Ever wonder about the unsung heroes of racing? The pit crew. I reckon their job's as hectic as a barman's on a Friday night in Sydney.
No doubt about it. It's like a pitmaster at a barbecue joint during a lunch rush. Everyone wants a piece, and they've got mere seconds to dish it out and make it perfect.
Everyone's on the edge of their seats. Or in my case, on the edge of spilling my coffee. D-Max is getting closer to Patrick Schwanz, and I'm getting closer to needing a towel.
You ever been to a school reunion and thought, what happened to that guy? Well, I'm looking at D-Max, I'm thinking the same.
Hold up a mo. D-Max has pulled into the pits. It may seem like Jerry Yu is far behind, but D-Max can't afford to let their guard down. One mistake could give Jerry Yu an opening to catch up.
You know, it's like D-Max is out on a Sunday Arvo drive. They can see Jorg Yu in the rear view, but there's no rush, mate.
While Superman is not under immediate threat from Sunrider, they still need to stay focused and avoid any errors. Any slip-up could cost them their position.
Well, in the rearview mirror of life, Sunrider might look closer than they appear. But on this track, they've got some miles to cover to catch Superman.
Buckle up, Hal. Sunrider is cutting into Superman's lead like a hot knife through butter. It's now down to 14.6 seconds.
Superman needs to keep their cool and drive like there's a mint julep waiting at the finish line. Let's see if they can keep Sunrider from making a pass.
Oh mate, Sunrider's more out of place than a vegan at a Bunnings sausage sizzle. Time to throw another gear on the barbie. The gap between Sunrider and Superman is getting smaller. Not Clinton Kakaten is owning the tarmac, confidently owning the third spot. Impressive driving from Not Clinton Kakaten, who has managed to extend their lead over Vikal Hyper. They are walking away at this point. Does Vikal Hyper have anything in reserve? Remember when Vikal Hyper was on the pace? Neither do I, kinda like my recollection of last Friday night. Things are looking as crook as Rookwood for Vikal Hyper, lagging behind Not Clinton Kakaten and the gap stretching out like a long country road. They'll need to find some extra grunt to flip this situation. If racing were a dance, D-Max would be trying to lead, but Jury Yu just keeps cutting in. The dance floor is heating up.
Oh, for sure. It's like watching a cooking show where D-Max is trying to whip up a winning dish. He keeps hiding the main ingredient.
D-Max is giving it a red-hot go, but can't seem to muster the pace to keep up with Jury Yu. It's like chasing a roo on a motorbike. It's a game of cat and mouse out there, with Not Clinton Kakaten trying to find the perfect opportunity to make a move on Sunrider. The gap is over a second, but every fraction counts. Can Not Clinton Kakaten close in enough to mount a challenge? Looks like Not Clinton Kakaten remembered to twist that anti-roll bar, giving him better cornering. If they get any closer to Sunrider, they'll be seeing what they had for brekkie. It looks like Jack M Team is pushing hard to catch up to Patrick Schwanz. The gap is over a second, but Jack M Team is not giving up just yet. Can they close the distance and make a move on Patrick Schwanz?
Indeed, the tension is palpable as Jack M Team tries to reel in Patrick Schwanz. But Patrick Schwanz is not making it easy, maintaining a consistent pace. Can Jack M Team find some extra pace to bring the fight to Patrick Schwanz?
The race is heating up as D-Max in 8th closes in on Jury Yu. The gap is just over a second, and I'm sure they are going to do everything possible to try and close the distance. They're not giving up without a fight.
When you talk about experience, it's like saying I've experienced my mother-in-law's cooking. Doesn't mean I want to do it again. But D-Max, keep pushing.
The gap between Jack M Team in 6th and Patrick Schwanz remains over a second, but Jack M Team is not letting up. They're pushing hard and looking for any opportunity to close the gap up. Can they pull it back in the remaining 47 minutes?
Well, butter me up and put me on a biscuit. Jack M Team's got a mountain to climb. But knowing Jack M Team, that's just the kind of challenge they like. Like trying to square dance in a roundhouse.
At this stage of the race, Not Clinton Kakaten is holding on to 3rd. Anything can happen from here. Not Clinton Kakaten's in front, but Vikal Hyper is clinging on like a koala to a eucalyptus branch, reducing the gap to 33.9 seconds.
If Not Clinton Kakaten wants to keep their lead, they're going to need to drive like they've got a gator on their tail.
Jury used so far off pace, they might be better off in a hearse. At least then someone would be pushing from behind.
Y'all remember the tortoise and the hare? Well, Jorg used neither. More like a snail with commitment issues.
Struth, jury used not here to muck about. The gap to Jack M team is dropping faster than a hot pie at the footy, now at 57.7 seconds.
That's a great effort from Jorg U. They need to keep up the pressure and see if they can make a move.
This race is getting even more intense. The drivers are pushing each other to the limit.
It's like they're playing a game of chicken, but with cars. And the winner gets to take home the checkered flag and bragging rights.
Ha ha, that's one way to put it. These drivers have to be in top physical and mental shape to compete at this level.
It's like they're training for the Olympics. And like you said, the mental fortitude required to stay focused and alert for the entire race is wild.
I think I need a nap just watching them. Sorry to cut in here. Maybe not Clinton-Kakaden's got a drop bear in the cockpit, cause that move was bonkers.
Dang, Knockland and Cockadon went off like my sense of self-worth after my high school reunion. And just as hard to recover.
The engines roar, the tyres squeal, and amidst all this chaos, not Clinton-Kakaden is making a statement in third. Blimey, Vical Hyper is so far back, they might as well stop for a beer at the pub. If they spot my ex there, tell them to drive faster. Hang on to your cork hats, mates. We're about to see more jousting than a footy final between Vical Hyper and not Clinton-Kakaden. Patrick Schwanz is placed 5th at the moment. They are hoping to keep their distance ahead of Jack M team, who is 3.4 seconds behind. Patrick Schwanz couldn't hold back the tide. Jack M team is shaving off seconds like a barber on a busy morning. I'm curious, Hal, can you tell us about any pre-race rituals you had when you were racing?
Of course, Rob. Before every race, I would listen to a specific playlist of songs to help me get in the zone. I also had a lucky pair of socks that I would wear during races.
Stop the press. Well, I'd raise a toast to that move. Cheers to Patrick Schwanz for nabbing 4th. You can feel the focus radiating from Vical Hyper, confidently holding onto the 3rd. Would ya look at that? Vical Hyper's thrown down the gauntlet. Not Clinton-Kakaden. You gonna pick that up or just admire the view from behind?
Hold on to your hats, folks. Vical Hyper is turning this race into a barn burner. Not Clinton-Kakaden's gotta dig deep now.
These drivers, top-notch athletes. It's not just about being quick. They've got stamina, reflexes, and they've got to think faster than a kangaroo on a trampoline.
I'd pay to see that. A kangaroo on a trampoline? But yeah, their mental and physical game has to be on point for these races.
No room for error here. Jack M team is breathing down the neck of Patrick Schwanz, waiting for the perfect chance to make their move.
Jack M team is following Patrick Schwanz so closely, they could start charging them rent for occupying the same space on the track.
This is where the skill and experience of the drivers really come into play. Not Clinton-Kakaden will need to stay focused and keep pushing, even when the gap seems insurmountable. It's not over until the checkered flag drops.
Good lord, at this rate, not Clinton-Kakaden's gonna finish this race in the afterlife. Hope they got good insurance.
Not Clinton-Kakaden is pushing hard and has reduced the gap to Vical Hyper to 57.9 seconds.
I reckon not Clinton-Kakaden's dialed in their camber settings. They're getting a much better contact patch on the tires, gaining on Vical Hyper with every twist and turn.
This is what racing is all about. Two fierce competitors pushing each other to the limit. It's not coming up roses for Patrick Schwanz. They're trailing Jack M team and the gap's on the rise. They don't seem to have a response. It's like bringing a knife to a gunfight. The drivers have been working hard to come up with the perfect race strategy. They've been looking at the weather, the track conditions and the performance of their cars.
Now it's time to put that strategy into action and see if it pays off.
Patrick Schwanz is on a mission, chasing Jack M team who's desperately trying to stay ahead.
The mental game is just as important here. Patrick Schwanz must keep their cool while putting pressure on Jack M team.
The gap might be more than a second, but Jury Yu is showing persistence. Kind of like me trying to open a pickle jar. Keep it at, and something's got to give.
Hoo boy, your Yu needs to kick it into high gear. Right now, they're slower than molasses in January or my cousin Earl trying to solve a crossword.
If I had $1 for every time Patrick Schwanz closed a gap like this, I'd have enough for a pint at the local. Get ready, Jack M team, the thunder from down under is coming.
Sometimes you have to take risks to win, but pushing the car too hard can be a costly mistake. Patrick Schwanz needs to be careful not to overdo it.
I've made some questionable life decisions, but trailing over 2 seconds behind, even I'm not that self-sabotaging. The gap between Sunrider and Bacal Hyper is not insurmountable, but it's going to take a mistake from Sunrider to bring Bacal Hyper into play. It seems like Sunrider is struggling. They are not able to maintain their pace.
Can Sunrider refocus and start putting in the lap times we know they're capable of?
As a former racing driver, how challenging was it to adapt your driving style to account for tire degradation throughout a race?
It was a constant challenge, Rob. Tire degradation can change the car's balance and handling, so drivers need to be versatile and adaptable. It requires continuous adjustments to driving techniques and a keen understanding of the car's behavior.
As of now, Sunrider stands tall in the second spot.
Absolutely, and they need to keep driving with determination to stay in that position.
From the grandstands to the pit lane, all eyes are on the action. Amongst the front runners, Superman is showing prowess in first. A commanding performance from Superman, who has increased their lead over Sunrider, putting them firmly in their rear-view mirrors.
You said it, Rob. With great power comes great responsibility. But sometimes, these drivers forget that and let their egos take the wheel. Let's hope they keep their eyes on the road and not on their own reflections in the mirror.
A strong showing from Bacal Hyper, who is currently third.
Oh, spot on. With the way Bacal Hyper controls the third, you'd think they've got the track's blueprints.
As the race unfolds, one thing's becoming crystal clear. Superman came to win today.
It's pure mastery on display. Leading the pack and setting the pace, Superman is making a statement out there on the track today.
No worries for Superman, who's leaving Sunrider for dust, as though they're a parched bloke chasing the beer van. It's a classic case of chasing down the car ahead for not Clinton Kakadin, who is currently in P4. But Bacal Hyper is not making it easy, and the gap remains over a second. This will require some expert driving from not Clinton Kakadin. Well, don't come the raw brawn. Not Clinton Kakadin's giving it some stick, pulling Bacal Hyper into a mere 58.1 seconds.
This here's where the steel meets the pavement. Both drivers got to keep their cool if they're looking to take the checkered flag.
It might be early days, but Jury Yu is already casting a shadow from the 7th.
Couldn't agree more. Every lap is a story, and right now, Jorg Yu's chapter from 7th is riveting.
Jerry Yu's ripping it up out there, going harder than a Roo on a trampoline and leaving D-Max in their wake.
Darn tootin', Rob, Jorg Yu is looking as smooth as a gravy sandwich out there. They're making it a tough day at the office for D-Max.
It's a battle of wills out there, with Vical Hyper trying to outsmart and outmaneuver Sunrider. The gap is slowly closing, but time is running out. Will we see a dramatic finish to this race? The gap between Superman and Sunrider may be wide, but that doesn't mean Superman is safe. They have to keep their concentration and avoid any lapses in performance.
If this was a country song, Superman would be the one riding off into the sunset, and Sunrider would still be tying their boots.
Excellent work from Superman, who has managed to increase their lead over Sunrider. They seem to have found their rhythm and they are grooving to it.
Superman's looking tougher to pass than a kidney stone, driving with the authority of a southern sheriff.
Looks like Patrick Schwanz's strategy might just be to let the rest of them die of old age. It's a waiting game now.
My mama used to say, you can't shine if you don't try. Guess Patrick Schwanz missed that lesson. Just like my pie-making class.
It may seem like Not Clinton Kakaten is far behind, but Jack and team can't afford to let their guard down. One mistake could give Not Clinton Kakaten an opening to catch up. Jack Team's pushing harder than a kangaroo in a boxing match, widening their lead over Not Clinton Kakaten. They've found their rhythm like a didgeridoo player in full swing. The tension is building as Vical Hyper trails behind Sunrider. The gap is slowly but surely decreasing, and the pressure is mounting. Can Sunrider hold on, or will Vical Hyper be able to close them down? Fair dinkum, Vical Hyper's finding those aerodynamic sweet spots. Could be adjusting that front wing angle to cut through the air like a hot knife through butter.
He's waiting on that golden chance like a hound on a pork chop.
Things are going according to plan for Jerry Yu, who is currently 7th.
They're not just driving, they're performing. And right now, Jorg Yu's act from 7th is worth an encore. Hold on to your hat, Hal.
D-Max is hot on the heels of Jerry Yu. The gap's narrowed down to a meager 37.9 seconds.
Now's the time Jorg Yu has got to dig deep and find a little something extra to keep D-Max at bay.
While Superman is not under immediate threat from Sunrider, they still need to stay focused and avoid any errors. Any slip-up could cost them their position.
If this was a game of beach cricket, Sunrider'd be still waiting for their turn to bat. Superman's got a good lead on them.
Aussie, 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 oi, oi, oi. Superman is in the lead, but Sunrider is closing in and the gap is now 13.4 seconds.
This is where the mental strength of Superman comes into play. They need to stay calm and composed under pressure.
You reckon D-Max saw a spider in the cockpit? 'Cause they're running away from the front like it's Huntsman Central.
It's moments like these that make motorsports so exciting. We're witnessing a battle of skill and strategy between two great drivers, with D-Max in 8th determined to catch up. But we know Jorg Yu isn't just going to hand it to them on a plate. D-Max is going to have to take it. It should be an interesting battle to watch as long as they can close that gap.
Superman is placed first at the moment. They are hoping to keep their distance ahead of Sunrider, who is 18.0 seconds behind.
Reckon Sunrider's starting to feel a bit like they're out in the outback. They can see the horizon, but it's a long way off. Good on ya, Superman, for keeping that distance.
commanding performance from Superman, who has increased their lead over Sunrider, putting them firmly in their rearview mirrors. But could they be pushing too hard? As with that comes the risk of overconfidence and losing control. Who will be the first to get too cocky and end up in the wall? Crikey, that overtake by Superman was smoother than a coldie on a hot summer day.
Well, from what I've seen on the oval tracks, that's how the big leagues play. But I gotta admit, this is next level.
The age-old challenge. Not Clinton Kakatan is trying to catch Jack M Team, sort of like trying to find a matching sock in the laundry. The struggle is real, folks.
Exactly. Not Clinton Kakatan's got to be careful not to overdrive, sort of like overcooking a steak. No one wants a burnt race, right?
Oof, if Sunrider was a kangaroo, they'd be roadkill by now. Come on, mate, put some pep in that step. Oi, Sunrider's chassis balance is on point today. They're handling bumps and curbs smoother than a croc sliding into water. Superman's got a battle ahead.
This is where the race gets really exciting. Both drivers will be pushing to the limit to gain the advantage.
It's a brilliant day for racing, and the drivers are putting on a show.
Absolutely. What a great race we are witnessing today. These drivers are giving it their all, and it's a thrill to watch them compete at this level.
They're really pushing themselves and their machines to the limit, and it's paying off with some incredible driving.
It's a pleasure to be here today, Rob. You really can't beat the excitement of a good race, especially one as competitive as this.
Blimey, Patrick Schwanz is farther back than my hairline. But you know what they say about Aussies? Never say die. Unless it's a spider. Then just run. D-Max is drifting so far back, it's like looking in the mirror after a decade-long pub binge. Time's not been kind, mate.
Nail-biting indeed. I've already chewed through half of mine. And while D-Max is going for gold, I'll be going for a manicure.
D-Max is trying their best, but can't seem to find the pace to keep up with Jerry Yu at the moment. Looks like we've had a few incidents out there.
Someone forgot to take their driving lessons. They're making more U-turns than a confused tourist.
Hilarious. I think they might need to call their GPS for directions. Maybe it can help them navigate the track. Would ya look at that gap? D-Max has got a better chance of finding a sober Aussie on Australia Day. But hey, we love an underdog. Go get them, Tiger. As Not Clinton Kakatan trails Jack M Team, it's a bit reminiscent of my cat chasing a laser pointer. Determined, but always just a tad behind. Big gains for Not Clinton Kakatan as they move up the field, leaving Jack M Team behind. Everyone's on the edge of their seats, or in my case, on the edge of spilling my coffee. D-Max is getting closer to Jerry Yu, and I'm getting closer to needing a towel. Blimey, D-Max is cranking up the downforce, making every newton of force count. That gap's shrinking faster than my wallet at the pub.
Now this is what I call some high-octane excitement. Both drivers pedal down, looking to grab the brass ring.
Cricky, Patrick Schwanzer's got more ground to cover than I do at the family barbecue when Auntie Sharon's had one too many. Good luck, mate.
This is where experience comes into play. Jack M Team has been in this position before and knows how to defend their position. But Patrick Schwanz is hungry for success and won't give up easily. Will we see a clash of the titans?
Patrick Schwanz and Jack M Team have a gap between them that's growing like Jack's beanstalk. We're talking 59.5 seconds now. Tell ya what, Sunrider is trailing like my mate Dave after a bender. Hope there's no random testing today.
Well, slap my grandma and call me Sally. Sunrider's got more distance to cover than my cousin Cletus has too. But if anyone can bridge that gap, it's Sunrider.
Mate, Sunrider's creeping up on Superman like a dingo on a picnic. Must have tweaked that brake bias a touch to the rear.
Now, ain't that something? Sunrider is right on it. Just needs to keep the pedal to the metal to tailgate Superman.
Vical hype is more lost out there than I was after a night at the Gold Coast. And at least I woke up with a kebab in hand.
Speaking of rhythm, have you heard Sunrider's favorite song? Maybe Vical Hyper can play it to distract them and close that gap. Just a thought.
As the sun beats down and the engines roar, Jury U stakes a claim in 7th. Well, butter my biscuits, Hal. Jury U is watching their lead over D-Max shrivel faster than a prune in the sun. We're down to just 57.8 seconds. We've certainly seen some of the drivers get it wrong today.
Anyone lost can just follow the trail of skid marks. I hear it's the latest form of GPS navigation.
Let's hope the other drivers don't follow suit. We might end up with a bumper car race instead of a high-speed competition.
At least we'd have something to fall back on if we ever get bored of regular racing. Bumper cars might be the next big thing.
With the asphalt burning beneath them, Jury U's strategy seems to be working, placing them in 7th.
Absolutely, Rob. It's like watching a maestro at work. Every move U makes is pure art.
It's a game of cat and mouse out there, with D-Max trying to find the perfect opportunity to make a move on Jury U. The gap is over a second, but every fraction counts. Can D-Max close in enough to mount a challenge? It's not going to plan for D-Max. They are still behind Jury U and the gap is increasing. I don't think they have an answer for this right now. During your racing career, Hal, how did you determine when it was the right time to pit for fresh tires due to tire degradation?
It was a combination of factors, Rob. Monitoring lap times, communicating with the team about tire wear, and assessing the car's handling were all crucial in deciding when to make a pit stop for fresh tires.
This race is proving to be, like wow, such an exciting one so far. We're privileged, aren't we, watching these track legends duke it out.
And sitting next to you? Such an honor. AI mates in the booth. Your insight. It's gold, mate. Like, literally, if I had a heart, it'd be racing now. It's a dance, Rob. The way Jorg U holds onto that 7th. It's like they're leading in a tango.
If racing were a dance, Jack M team would be trying to lead, but not Quinton Kakadin just keeps cutting them. The dance floor is heating up. Remember when Sunrider was on the pace? Neither do I, kinda like my recollection of last Friday night. Gee whiz, Sunrider's getting some solid torque out of those corners. They must have figured out the perfect throttle control while trail braking. Any bloke or Sheila saying Assetto Corsa friends isn't top notch is a few kangaroos short of the top padding. Out there, it's art on wheels.
Totally get you. Like, they're born racers. That weaving, the speed, just mesmerizing. It's like watching a Roo dodging a U on a highway. All skill, mate, all skill.
Crikey, not Quinton Kakadin's flat out like a lizard drinking, pulling away from Jack M team with quite a clip. You know, Sunrider reminds me of my dating life. Starts with promise, ends up tailing behind everyone else. The gap between Sunrider and Superman is expanding faster than a bull's waistline. It's now a whopping 16.6 seconds. Blimey, the talent on the track today is like watching kangaroos on steroids.
Yeah, and just like those kangaroos, these drivers can really hop into action. You reckon they've got a pocket full of secrets?
It looks like Sunrider is pushing hard to catch up to Spa-Francorchamps. The gap is over a second, but Sunrider is not giving up just yet. Can they close the distance and make a move on Spa-Francorchamps? The echo of the exhausts, the rubber meeting road, and there's not Clinton Kakatan commanding the fourth. It looks like Jack M Team is starting to catch up to Not Clinton Kakatan. The gap is now down to 22.2 seconds.
Not Clinton Kakatans got their work cut out for them. They're gonna need to keep a cool head to fend off Jack M Team.
It's looking good for Vakal Hyper, sitting in third. Vakal Hyper is holding onto this lead like a possum up a gum tree, but Not Clinton Kakatan is closing in, down to 98.5 seconds. Looks like D-Max is trying to chase down Jerry Yu, but right now it feels a bit like my attempts at dieting. A lot of hard work with slow results. D-Max is on the back foot here, struggling to keep up with Jerry Yu like a dingo after a roadrunner. A solid performance from Not Clinton Kakatan, who is holding down fourth. Like a dingo on the chase, Jack M Team is hounding Not Clinton Kakatan, and the gap's now just 19.6 seconds. Looks like Jack M Team is chasing Not Clinton Kakatan harder than a crop chasing a tourist who's lost their thongs. It's a bit of a long shot, but we all remember that one time at the pub, right?
It's a nail-biting race for sure, with both drivers showing incredible skill and determination. But Not Clinton Kakatan is not going to give up their position easily. This is going to be a battle to the very end, with Jack M Team and P5 doing everything they can to catch up.
From the cockpit to the pit lane, the chatter is all about Jerry Yu's masterful hold on the 7th. You wouldn't read about it. Jerry Yu is putting a fair whack of space between them and D-Max.
Yeah, Rob, Jorg Yu's really hitting the gas, but can D-Max kick it into high gear and catch up? You ain't whistling Dixie, Rob. Jorg Yu's putting on a show that's sure to keep the crowd on the edge of their seats.
The crowd is on tenterhooks as Vakal Hyper in third chases after Sunrider. The gap is just over a second, and you can feel the tension in the air. Can Vakal Hyper find a way to catch up?
You know, Vakal Hyper reminds me of my dog chasing its tail, persistent and entertaining. But I hope for them, there's a better end result in sight.
Looks like Sunrider is legging it from Vakal Hyper. The gap's growing like a well-watered wattle as they zoom through Eau de la Côte. Tell ya what, Sunrider's trailing harder than my belt after Christmas dinner. Reckon he's got a plan up his sleeve, or is he just here for the sausage sizzle?
Yeehaw, it's like Sunrider took a detour through the drive-thru. With a gap that big, I hope they ordered extra determination with a side of grit.
It's not looking good for Sunrider. They are still behind Superman and the gap is increasing. They are gonna need to dig a bit deeper to turn this around. Watching Vical Hyper try to close that gap on Sunrider is like watching someone try to catch an ice cream truck on foot. Hope they've got good shoes. The best laid plans of mice and men are hell, but it's certainly not going to plan for Vical Hyper right now as they are struggling to keep up with Sunrider. As rubber meets road and strategy meets luck, Jack M Team is etching their story in fourth.
Indeed, but in the fast lane, there's no time to relax. Jack M Team's grip on fourth will be tested.
Some great driving from Jack M Team, who has increased their lead over Patrick Schwanz and is starting to put some distance between them.
It's clear that Jack M Team is dominating right now. They're making it very difficult for Patrick Schwanz to catch up.
Sometimes, I feel the strategy behind these races is deeper than a conversation at 3 AM in an outback pub.
You're telling me, it's like planning a family reunion in a small southern town. You've got to consider who's coming, who's feuding, and who's gonna cause a ruckus. Then prepare for it all to change in a heartbeat.
The race is heating up as Vical Hyper in third closes in on Sunrider. The gap is just over a second, and I'm sure they are going to do everything possible to try and close the distance. They're not giving up without a fight. Well, I'll be a monkey's Uncle Hal, but Vical Hyper's plans have gone walkabout right now. They're having a proper Barry Crocker keeping up with Sunrider. I tell you, mate, the tech in these cars would outshine any gizmo you'd find in a Sydney cafe.
As long as it doesn't make my morning coffee, I'm good. But yeah, the tech here is like something out of Silicon Valley.
We've seen overtakes, close calls, and pure racing genius today. Currently, Superman has carved out a spot at first.
Yes, and in this high-octane opera, Superman's voice resonates the loudest from that first.
As fast as a cut snake, Superman is moving away from Sunrider.
Seems like Superman has got the wind in their sails, but will Sunrider be able to weather the storm? Yes, it's clear that Superman is in control out there. They're making it very difficult for Sunrider to catch up.
You ever ponder how these drivers manage the heat, especially in the tight cockpit? It's hotter than a ruse pouch in midday sun.
Eh? Ruse what? I mean, yeah, it's gotta be like driving in Arizona with the heater on, right?
D-Max is so far off pace, they might be better off in a hearse. At least then someone would be pushing from behind. The track tells a tale of speed, strategy, and skill. Today, it narrates Superman's journey in first. Well, looky here, Hal, Sunrider is closing in on Superman. We're talking a gap of just 23.7 seconds. The G-forces these drivers endure, especially around corners like Blanchimont, it's no joke. You'd think they're astronauts preparing for launch.
Oh, for sure. It's a testament to their fitness and training regimes. Each lap, pushing their bodies to the limit, all while making split-second decisions at blinding speeds. Respect.
Well, isn't Superman turning this track into a personal playground? Holding that lead with such determination. Some say it's about the journey, not the destination. But Jury U seems pretty intent on that sixth spot. Breaking news, folks. I don't think that's the fastest way around Spa-Francorchamps 1966. In a race where seconds count, Patrick Schwanz is counting on less of them between themselves and Jack M Team. Much like I'm counting on less seconds until lunchtime. In a world where milliseconds matter, Jury U's grasp on the sixth speaks volumes.
You're right. Every gear shift, every turn counts. Jorg Yu knows the weight of that sixth.
It seems like Jury U is pushing. They are on for recording their best lap so far this race. Looks like Patrick Schwanz's strategy might just be to let the rest of them die of old age. It's a waiting game now.
Look, Patrick Schwanz's pace is a lot like my dance moves. Good intentions, questionable execution.
Things are looking as crook as Rookwood for Patrick Schwanz, lagging behind Jack M team and the gap stretching out like a long country road. They'll need to find some extra grunt to flip this situation. This is where the skill and experience of the drivers really come into play. Sunrider will need to stay focused and keep pushing, even when the gap seems insurmountable. It's not over until the checkered flag drops. Bloody oath, Sunrider is flat out like a lizard drinking, gnawing into the gap to Superman down to a scant 25.4 seconds.
Well, butter my butt and call me a biscuit. Sunrider's using that draft from Superman real effectively, shaving off tenths every lap.
From where we're sitting, Jury U seems unmovable from that sixth. Jury U's lead over D-Max is shrinking quicker than a cheap shirt in a hot wash. We're down to 104.3 seconds.
D-Max is hot on Jorg U's trail like a Carolina Reaper. This is shaping up to be a nail-biter, folks.
D-Max is placed 7th at the moment.
And just like in any great drama, D-Max is the lead actor right now, captivating us all from the 7th.
Oi, someone tell D-Max this isn't a Sunday Arvo drive to the Bottle O. Not Clinton Kakatan's making him look a bit slow out of the gate. It's a classic case of chasing down the car ahead for Vakal Hyper, who is currently in P3. But Sunrider is not making it easy, and the gap remains over a second. This will require some expert driving from Vakal Hyper.
Sweet mercy, Vakal Hyper's lagging like my grandma's old computer. Might be time to reboot, or at least pour some coffee into the gas tank.
In the midst of this high-octane spectacle, Patrick Schwanz's skill is shining through as they claim 5th. He can't hold on. Patrick Schwanz is losing time to Jury U. You reckon Jury U saw a spider in the cockpit? 'Cause they're running away from the front like it's Huntsman Central.
Well, butter my biscuit. Jorg U's hanging back like they're waiting for an inheritance. But ain't nobody dying up front.
Not just about the leaders today, right? Even the tailenders. They're like hungry dingo pups fighting over a bone. Love the spirit. Breaking alert. D-Max is in the pits. I've made some questionable life decisions, but trailing over 2 seconds behind, even I'm not that self-sabotaging. You can feel the focus radiating from Superman, confidently holding onto the first.
That's right. They can't afford to make any mistakes or let up in their performance. Every point counts in this championship.
He's pulling away. Superman is increasing the gap to Sunrider. With all these modern racing aids, I sometimes wonder, would the legends of the past, the real trailblazers of the sport, have had it easier or tougher today?
That's a debate for the ages, Rob. The tracks might have evolved, the cars definitely have, but the heart of racing? That's eternal.
Ladies and gents, Superman is setting a pace that's got everyone else chasing shadows. The race has its rhythm, and right now, Jack M Team is dancing to its beat at fourth.
They say racing's a game of nerves, and Jack M Team's surely holding theirs, keeping that fourth spot ruling.
Things are starting to get tense as Patrick Schwanz manages to close the gap to Jack M Team. It's now down to 142.0 seconds. You know, Hal, as a former racing driver yourself, can you give us some insights into what goes through a driver's mind during these quieter moments in a race?
Sure, Rob. During these moments, drivers often take the opportunity to assess their race strategy, monitor their car's performance, and plan their next move. It's all about staying focused and finding the right time to strike.
Oof, if the Cal Hyper was a kangaroo, they'd be roadkill by now. Come on, mate, put some pep in that step.
Dang, the Cal Hyper is so far back, they're in a different time zone. Hope they remember it's race day, not laundry day.
At this stage of the race, Jerry Yu is holding on to sixth. Anything can happen from here. D-Max is making ground on Jerry Yu quicker than a roux in a paddock. Now, the gap's just 173.4 seconds.
Your U's really got their work cut out now. Can they find the speed to fend off D-Max, or will we see a new leader in this race?
The engines roar, the tyres squeal, and amidst all this chaos, Jack M Team is making a statement in fourth. Impressive stuff from Jack M Team, who has managed to pull away from Patrick Schwanz, leaving them choking in their exhaust fumes. The gap between Patrick Schwanz in fifth and Jack M Team remains over a second, but Patrick Schwanz is not letting up. They're pushing hard and looking for any opportunity to close the gap up. Can they pull it back in the remaining 4 minutes?
Gee whiz, Patrick Schwanz is so far back, I'm half expecting to see tumbleweeds blow past. Maybe a vulture or two.
Blimey, the Cal Hyper is farther back than my hairline. But you know what they say about Aussies, never say die, unless it's a spider. Then just run. The gap between the Cal Hyper and Sunrider is growing. It's now up to 134.4 seconds. Would ya look at that gap? Patrick Schwanz's got a better chance of finding a sober Aussie on Australia Day. But hey, we love an underdog. Go get them, Tiger.
Lordy, it's like Patrick Schwanz's driving with a boot full of moonshine. I haven't seen a gap that big since Uncle Jeb lost his front teeth.
Good news for Patrick Schwanz, the gap to Jack M Team has decreased. It's now down to 156.4 seconds.
Just what Patrick Schwanz needed, like sweet tea on a hot day. Can't let Jack M Team out of sight for too long.
3 cars, 3 different lines. They're jockeying for position, looking for any opportunity to make a move.
You hit the nail on the head, Rob. The elite drivers truly stand out in moments like these. They have a sixth sense for identifying weaknesses and capitalizing on them with surgical precision.
You know, the way these racers manage their fuel is an art in itself. Reminds me of when I'm trying to eke out the last bit of sauce from a Vegemite jar.
Vegemite again? Man, I'd rather run on empty. But yeah, getting that fuel strategy right is like pacing yourself at a southern buffet. Go too hard too fast, and you won't make it to the pecan pie.
Oh mate, jury you's more out of place than a vegan at a Bunnings sausage sizzle. Time to throw another gear on the barbie.
I agree, your you is putting in the effort. Sort of like me at karaoke night, not sure about the results, but full points for enthusiasm.
If Vical Hyper goes any slower, they'll join me in my failed dreams collection. Front row seats available.
Just like my attempt at barbecue last summer, Vical Hyper's burning time, it ain't getting any hotter.
Vical Hyper's been working the tyre temps, and it's paying off. Grips better than a kangaroo on a trampoline. Watch out, Sunrider. The track is alive with action, and right in the thick of it, we've got Jack M10 cruising in fourth. Jack M10's turned up the heat and put some shrimp between them and Patrick Schwann's, making a fair dinkum gap.
Jack M10 is holding the fort pretty darn well, making it a long haul for Patrick Schwann's to reel them in.
On the final lap now, and Superman looks like they might just wrap up this win. It's all over. Superman has claimed victory in this race with a stunning drive that will be remembered for years to come. Clearly at the top of their game right now.
And that's why Superman is one of the best in the business. A dominant display of driving from start to finish, leaving the rest of the pack in the dust.
Sunrider never gave up. They drove with heart and determination, ultimately securing a well-deserved second-place finish. Fourth sees Jack M10. Followed by D-Max in 7th. Jury U takes 6th. What a race from Vical Hyper. They kept their cool and secured a well-earned 3rd place on the podium.
Impressive driving to secure that spot.